Well, hey there. So you are an internet scuzzbag who's trying to sell more of your scuzzbag products through Facebook and Google Ads. And in this video, I'm going to give you a structure for your Facebook and Google Ads. If you use this, it is going to, I guarantee, and this is not like a hyperbole, like when I actually make headlines in internet marketing, they actually mean something. I know nobody does that, but seriously, listen to this. When I guarantee something, I guarantee it. I guarantee if you use this structure here, you are going to double, triple, quadruple, 10x your ads. And I can tell you that because I've used this to build a multi-9-figure business that generates me many, many millions of dollars per month and many other businesses that are in the 8-figure range. It just absolutely fucking works. It just applied in this video. I know that sounds hyperbolic, but I got the results to back it up. I am the CEO of Hyros. This is one of the largest ad tracking companies in the world right now. And across all my experience spending tens and tens of millions of dollars on ads, I actually see what is working in the industry. And this little tactic, this structure for Facebook and Google ads, everybody that's doing it is absolutely printing money. Everybody else is getting so-so results. Their ads are not scaling. This is going to fix it for you. I virtually, literally guarantee it. Now, let me explain how this works because you're probably still skeptical. And yes, I know you're impressed by my new studio. I wanted to create the most depressing office environment possible. I figured the last studio looked way too cool, so I figured I want to get into a filming environment that looks like a cross between living in my mother's basement and the Chamber of Secrets in Harry Potter. It's a real great place to be. Curb your enthusiasm, curb your impressedness. I know this. This shooting setup reeks of success. I just moved. This is the best it's going to get if you came for the special effects in the studio. Not going to happen. We're just going to lower and lower the quality of these videos until it's not even me in the videos. It's just going to be an AI generated cardboard figure pumping out generic blog marketing information. That's the direction we're headed. Okay, all right, enough. Look, what the heck are we doing here? Let me explain. See, I do a call a day with an entrepreneur at Hyros. These are businesses that are running a lot of money on ads. And every single call, it is, hey, what's working? Are UGC ads working? Are image ads working? What type of headlines are working? What type of targeting is working? And I got to tell you something. When it comes to paid advertising, yes, having an optimized ad, having optimized headlines, having all the hoopla and the stuff just right, yes, that does get results. That is important. But if you're watching this channel and you run any amount of ads, you probably already know most of the secrets when it comes to ads. You probably can go and make a pretty well optimized ad. And so you're not going to get the edge by doing that. You're going to get the edge by understanding what the customer is buying, not listening to this channel, I can't talk. You're going to get the results by understanding what the customer is buying and decision-making process looks like. Most people mess this up in their ads. In fact, everybody does except for me. I'm the only person in the world to ever nail it. Most people mess this up because they think of ads as some binary thing where we copy some phrases and some lingo and a speaking pattern, and that convinces people to buy. No, you have to think about what the person's thinking from the first time they see your ad all the way through. Let me break this down. So first things first, before we get started, I'm going to give you one ultimate ad tip. Track your ads with an attribution system. Look, I'd suggest Hyros because I own Hyros and it's the best tracking possible, and it has endless testimonials from like Tony Robbins. Alex Hormozi uses it. We have giant brands like Playboy using it. We have a near perfect score on Trustpilot. We literally have a guarantee that if you don't make more money using it, you don't have to pay for it. It's a great place to be, but please just track it with something. If you look at our Facebook ads right here, here's me tracking with Hyros. We run a call funnel. The most basic funnel to track of all time. It's just a person clicking on the page and booking a call. And you can see right here, Facebook only caught 42 calls. We're tracking 116 calls right here. If I had been using Facebook's metrics right here, I probably would have turned off these ads or at least think they aren't that successful. I'm paying $500 per call. I'm actually paying $200 per call, which is printing money at my business. I am begging you, if you run ads and watch this video, apply what I'm about to tell you. It's going to double your ad results, but you're not really going to get much traction with your ads if you're not tracking where the sales are coming from and which ads are profitable and how profitable they are. Please, after this video is done, just come stop by Hyros, check it out. It takes 2 seconds to apply, and you're going to be able to actually run your ads so much more efficiently, which will make you more money from what I'm about to teach you right here. FYI, also before we get started, I'm going to mention a lot of ads, Facebook targeting, whatever in this video. On this channel, I give away literally everything for free. All I want to do is just teach you how to make more money from your ads so that you eventually come and track your ads with Hyros. So I'm just going to tell you everything I know. At the end of this video, you'll have links to the scripts, the ad targeting, everything I'm doing, how I target everything on Facebook, exactly what I run ads, the scripts, you'll watch them all. It's all there verbatim. You can also just browse around this channel. It's literally all here. What we need to focus on this right here is an understanding that when you combine it with those things, it's going to turbocharge your ads, the scripts, and everything you're using. So let's dive into it. So look, let me explain this core problem that you're probably making, and almost everyone I talk to that runs ads that isn't extremely rich like myself is making. So look, I was talking to a SaaS company, but this is across e-commerce, this is across info marketing the other day, and I was looking at their ads and I'm like, why aren't our ads converting? We can't make this work. And it's fundamentally misunderstanding what the customer cares about and how they make the decision-making process. Let me give you the tip of the iceberg real quick, and then we're going to get into a step-by-step, 6-step proven method that you can use that is going to just make your ads crush, because you're actually going to dive deep into your customer's brain and extract the thing that makes them do the thing you want, which is buy stuff, opt in, book phone calls, or basically believe you're going to be able to solve their problem if they give you money, which is the core thing we're trying to do here. That's it at the end of the day. If we can get someone to think, if they give us money, their problem will be solved, we've won. But how the heck do we get there? So I was looking at their ads, and from the get-go, their SaaS company and their software ads, they said, why aren't they converting? There's two things they were misunderstanding from the get-go. So they're just running ads saying, hey, our software can do this. It will optimize, let's just say in this instance right here, your emails for you. Okay, and they were running all these ads, and they're like, well, we can't scale the ads because they're not profitable right away. We spend $100 and we only get $50 back, and we don't know why they're not converting. So let's look at what's going on right here from the get-go. So this is part of the process I'm going to teach you. I just want to show you how off people are. What a lot of people are doing with their ads is the first thing you can see that they are doing with the ad is they start talking about what the product does. And that's not what the customer cares about. The only thing a customer cares about when they're buying a B2B software, and I'm going to show you this process for e-com and everything else, but we have to nail down what the customer cares about. The only thing a person cares about in a B2B software is money. So the only thing we should be advertising is the saving or creation of money. If you ever look at Hyros ads, for example, the only thing I directly connect it to immediately in every single ad, I never talk about tracking in the ads. I talk about the percent increase in the ads you're going to see. I show Tony Robbins going and doubling one of his ad funnels with it. I get all the results from all the big companies that come through. I always make sure it focuses, or I ask them, how much were you able to scale your ads further? That's why if you go to a Hyros site, you just see endless results, not talking about what Hyros does tracking accuracy wise. No one cares about that. What it talks about is how much more money people are making from their ads by using accurate data. And so what they're doing right here is, if I was running Hyros ads based around tracking accuracy, which is what a lot of our competitors did back in the day, and that's why we absolutely body slam them, because they don't understand what their customers care about. So by doing this, one, they don't understand what the customer is looking for, and then two, they don't understand the customer buying process. When a person is buying B2B software, what they do is you alert them to the problem, and nobody clicks an ad and just starts buying B2B software like they're buying underwear on the internet. No one's like, oh man, this is a cool soft underwear, I gotta buy it now. That's not how they buy it. What they do is soft underwear, it's the new thing in e-com. Going to be a giant hit. You heard it here first. But what they do is they get alerted to the fact that they have the problem, and then what they do is they think about it for a little bit, they talk to their team, and then when they finally decide, hey, this is a problem, we need to solve it, they go and look at the top 3 different companies. And so the way you want to run e-commerce ads is SaaS ads is you want to attach it back to money. And then what you want to do is you want to remember that they're not going to buy right away. And then you want to remarket the hell out of them so that when they do make the decision to finally come and fix this problem, you're sitting there like a Geico commercial when their person thinks about looking for insurance. Okay, so why did I just explain this whole situation to you? I just wanted to show you a very simple thought process or example of how people are dramatically misunderstanding how their customer is thinking about, looking for, and buying their product. This simple little process that I just showed you, or this example, showed you just this shift in mindset is something that makes our ads at Hyros, which we sell tracking, which is the most boring thing on planet Earth, makes it sexy and something that people buy like crazy. And so the secret to our ads, and the reason why my company's ads do very well, is not because I follow some script or some pattern or some UGC format with a specific landing page. We literally just send people to our website. It's because what I do is I understand the customer buying process. And so what we need to do when we're looking at our ads is we need to go through some questions and some flows to actually understand what our customer is trying to do and what the buying process looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through this, and if you do this general thought process before you start running your ads, you're gonna make 10 times better ads, and you're gonna think about how your ads are going to work with your customer much better. So look, the first thing we need to think about with our ads is, what does the buying process look like? So if you're running an e-commerce business, the buying process looks like a person coming straight to the site and buying right away if you have a low ticket item. That's what it looks like. All right. So what we're trying to do is we really need to front load getting this low ticket item sold. So that means using a lot of scarcity tactics, aggressive things, and then following up around this one low ticket product right here. But if we're selling a SaaS product, for example, what the buying process looks like is sometimes the customer takes a week or two to buy. They go and talk to their team. They think about it. If we have a really high ticket product, our e-commerce product, the person's probably going to talk to support. They're going to do some research. They're going to go ask ChatGPT. And so there's all sorts of things you could think about when the person lands on the site that cut them off from those things or help them with those things. Putting in maybe an AI bot that helps them with the chats or whatnot to answer their questions. So for example, I was looking at like a hyperbaric chamber the other day. That's not something I'm just going to click an ad and be like, ooh, and then buy it. No, I want to ask questions, but there's nothing on the site to ask questions about. Their chat wasn't responsive. You know how crazy it would have been if I just landed the page and they had just a chat GPT that was trained to answer questions right below the product and I could just ask questions about it? It would have been groundbreaking, but instead I have to like email them and then wait 2 days to get a response. All sorts of stuff like this is what you need to think about when you're looking at your ads, and then think about what the process is going to look like. If you're running a SaaS company right here, you probably want to market to the people first and then really focus more on your remarketing. If you're running a low ticket company right here, you really want to focus on your scarcity and all the things that cause a person to buy on their first try, because you have to hook them right there. Okay. If you're thinking about something where you're selling something high ticket, or high ticket, maybe e-commerce, something like that, think about all the questions and other places they're going to go when they click on these ads, and all the things they're going to think about. Okay. So I just want you to think about this before you start running your ads. What does the buying process look like overall? And then you might start thinking, maybe I need to adjust how I look at my ads. For example, I see SaaS people running ads the same way that e-commerce people are trying to run their ads or something like that. It just doesn't work. Okay, so the next thing, and really the most important place to start at, is what the F do these people want? What the hell do they actually want? What people don't want out of your skincare product is a new cream that feels luxurious on their skin, that has a revolutionary acne treatment system attached to it. They don't want that. They want to get rid of their blackheads in 3 days. They want to get rid of their blackheads fast. Okay? And so when a person buys a SaaS software, what do they want? They want to make a lot of money. They want to make more money than they pay. They want their business to make more money. When a person buys a hyperbaric chamber, for example, what do they want? They want a hyperbaric chamber that gets to a certain pressure and has these dials and features? No, they probably want to improve their skin, reduce some certain ailment, something like that, reverse aging, something like that. That's the thing they want to see. And so it's very important when you're running ads, you identify this what the F immediately, and you focus all your ads on that. You don't focus it on anything else. This is the most important shift you can make in your ads. Everybody out there is advertising their features or the things it does, not the result that people want. So think about this immediately and then zero in on this. Now, the next thing you need to consider, and that most people don't consider when they have their ads, is that people often don't consider themselves that they have this problem, especially in B2B, okay? So if you're dealing with like skincare or something like that, or like health supplements, all the time I see ads, and the best ones, for example, I'm going to give you an example of a really good place to just skim around to get ideas for this. If you go skim through Twitter, I am constantly in health Twitter discovering I have new massive problems with my body and I'm taking the wrong supplements. Like every 5 scrolls, it's like, this new breakthrough thing right here is why your liver is on fire, or this new foot bath thing, all this kind of stuff, all right? I'm constantly discovering there's something new and terrible wrong with my body, and there's this new magic plant in Nicaragua that solves everything, like every 10 minutes. And the way every single one of these ads always starts off, and it's not so much an ad, it's just people posting on Twitter, is by convincing me first off that I have the problem in the first place. And so, for example, I've seen one that was like, Mark Wahlberg had high blood pressure and then he like reversed it using this thing right here. But the craziest thing is like most men over 35 have this crazy chronic thing just like Mark, and they don't know that they have it. That gets me paying attention right away. And so what you need to think about with your ads is, do people actually know they have the problem? One of the ways to easily expand your ads is by being able to target people that don't know they have the problem. So for example, if people have a wrinkly face, they know they have a wrinkly face, but if you can pin other reasons to like why why it's happening. Maybe they've accepted it, but they think there's no way they can solve it. And it'd be like, it's actually something in your air conditioner that's causing your wrinkly face or something like that. Or, for example, when I started running Hyros ads, most people didn't think they had a tracking problem. They thought Facebook ads were good enough. And so I had to convince people that they did have the problem. So one of the ways that I did this was by first catching their attention with stories, okay? Stories of how celebrities on Hyros fix this problem, okay? And so what I did with this is I attach it to the thing they want, all right? So I show celebrities making more money, okay? So people think, I want more money. How are they making more money? Then I introduce them to the problem, okay? And so this is something you just want to do in your ads. You want to think about what the heck does the person want? What's the end result? And then what's the problem that's causing it? And how can we convince them that they have this problem? Almost everybody running ads on Facebook, if I say, you have a tracking problem, they don't know they have a tracking problem. Nobody knows they have a tracking problem. I have to make these stupid videos making this content for you to really persuade you and hint at the fact that maybe you should track your ads accurately, because if you know where your sales are coming from, it's incredibly helpful if you're throwing money at ads to know which ads are generating sales. But nobody, okay, I'm not even gonna get into my rant right now, but you see what I'm saying right here. So the way I grew Hyros very successfully was by convincing people that they have this problem that they do have. And so when you think about your ads, think first off, what's the buying process look like? What the heck do they even want? And are they even aware they have the problem in the first place? So then the next thing you need to think about with your ads and your landing pages when you're writing copy for your ads or you're doing anything is getting the person to the place where they think they need to solve the problem. So how do you do this? You want to show compounding damage after you've introduced the problem to them from these things. So for example, what I would show in Hyros ads is the amount of loss stacking up. So for example, if a person had like 100K a month business, we'd show that they were like losing an additional 20K a month in the ad. Or we'd show excessive results. So companies using it, etc. Because what people are going to do is you have to either get a person across the line with your ads by showing them massive benefits, massive gain, or massive loss. That's how you have to end every single ad. And so for example, you really need to, let's see, if we have like a skincare or a skin cream ad or something like that, you need to show like a lot of people, like tons and tons of people curing their skin in record time, and then say something like, come to this page, we'll show you a case study of 500 people, 100 people, everyone getting this result you want in record time. That's how you do the massive benefit. Okay, that's how I would do it at Hyros, for example. I'd say, come to this page, you're going to see endless results. Or you need to show the massive compounding damages. So when it's like health products or like a B2B product, the compounding damages of not leaving this problem alone. That's going to get people to click on the ads and actually take the action. So what do they want? Convincing them they have the problem, and then showing them the massive benefit to convince them that they need to solve the problem, or the compounding damage that they're causing by not solving the problem. This is going to get people to come through and actually look at your site and start digging around and doing stuff. And then finally, the last mistake I see with people in their ads, and this is such a simple exercise, everything I walked you through is just basic persuasion, but people don't think these things apply to their ads. They don't think about it. And so they think my UGC ad just didn't have a hot enough babe in it or something. I don't know. Finally, when a person does come to your site, if you want your ads to convert much more at all, here's what you need to do. Like, here's how you blow up the conversion of all your ads. You convince them that it works. Okay, I've seen every sales copy, every trick, every page, everything like that. The only thing people really care about is that it works. And so you can try every trick in the book when it comes to what you're doing. But the number one way you're going to convince people on your pages when people actually land there is by showing results and then backing them up with crazy guarantees. And if you're in terms of health products or supplements or e-commerce or something like that, showing specific studies, stuff like that is going to push you over the edge. The next thing you also have to do is think about making them understand briefly how it works. So once you've convinced people when they land on your page that it works, you need to convince them how it works in the simplest format possible without confusing them. A beautiful example of this is on the Hyros website. If you go look at the top of the website, we have this really simple video right here that shows how the software works without a sales video or anything like that. I don't like sales videos per se because they can get really long and confusing, but what you want to focus on is people don't care how it works. They just want to grasp the concept of how it's going to get them this result. If you tell someone that you're going to get rid of all the blackheads on their face in 3 minutes or 3 days, whatever, they're not really going to swing. If you show them, for example, one of the best pitches I saw for skincare products was this combination product where it said, all right, so the way you're going to get rid of your blackheads record fast is you're going to use this acid cream first to open up your pores and get rid of all the blackhead juices in there, get them out of it. And I always talk about skin cream in these videos. I apologize. I just find it like the most obvious, pitchable, copyrightable market on planet Earth to explain it. So it says you're going to use this to get all the old pores clean, and then you're going to use our next supplement right here to close it all up. So it's going to get rid of the blackheads and then shrink the pores. Do you see how easy that was to understand? Like, I didn't explain the science or anything behind it or anything complicated, or assume the person had the problem or anything like that. I just basically laid out, hey, this is the process we're going to use here, and then it just showed endless results of that working. Okay, and so that works really well. So when people come to the page, like, you have to understand, I see so many pages where it's describing the features, the product itself, the bottling, the brand, the company, all this stuff right here. You really need to go and show that it works. For example, I bought this very nice pair of pajamas recently, and the reason is because it cools my body down. At least that's what it says on the website. I just think I'm a rich guy buying stupid, expensive, overpriced shit, but that's a whole other video. Anyways, the reason why I bought it is that it showed people increasing their sleep times because the pajamas cooled them down and cooled down their body temperatures. Okay, you see how that worked right there? And then it showed a bunch of results and like studies about it. That's why I bought the product. And so as I was skimming through Facebook, it convinced me, first off, that I had a problem because I was overheated when I was sleeping. Okay, it had, like, Brian Johnson talks about overheating when he's sleeping, and you got to get your body temperature this amount right here. But did you know the sheets and what people wear, the bed, is overheating their body, then stopping them from getting to the appropriate body temperature? Well, now we have these fucking awesome expensive pajamas. You should come through tons of, see, you can see how the process worked. And so this is what you need to think about when you're running your ads. I know a lot of stuff in this video was kind of like had nothing to do with going inside the Facebook ad manager and optimizing your targeting and your ad copywriting or your ad headlines and UGC videos and your templates and scripts. That's because those things don't matter. What matters is that you go through the process that the customer's thinking in your head and think about how you're going to market them and persuade them to go through that pathway that I just talked about right there. It doesn't matter what your funnel looks like. It doesn't matter what your ads look like. It matters that they go through this persuasion funnel process. What does their buying process look like? If you're running a B2B business ad, they're probably not going to buy from the first ad, so it's going to look more like a retargeting combo. You have to think about how people are going to interact on the page of the site. When I mentioned like that hyperbaric chamber, of course people aren't going to buy from the damn ad, okay? And they're going to have questions, and so you might as well cut them off right there. You got to think of how people are going to behave on your website and like what's going on in their heads. Top of that, what is most important to them? What is the result that they're looking for? That's all they care about. That's all they care about. So focus on that in your ads. And then once they see the result, convince them of the problem they have that's stopping them from getting the result. That's what you have to identify. And then you show them massive benefits, massive gain, or massive loss to get them on to the next side. And then you back it up with results, testimonials, whatever. Once they get to the page, your main goal is convince them that it works. And if you are doing B2B, the thing you need to convince them as is that they will make more money by plugging this in without any risk whatsoever. That's the thing you need to do to get people to buy in B2B. When it comes to e-com and other stuff like that, what I talked about, remember the pajamas, remember the skincare, all right? You have to show those studies, those results, those testimonials, those things to convince people that it works, and then give them a very brief grasp of how it works so they grasp it, they can explain it to themselves, and then they're going to buy. This is going to turbocharge your ads no matter what you're doing. You could literally just have a butt puppet talking, and you're going to see better results in the ads you're running right now if you're breaking these rules right here. So this has been the video for today, guys. If you want to see the actual scripts and ads for this, well, they're linked right here. So I'm going to go make a potion in the Chamber of Secrets now, which is my new office. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.